Our society loves to celebrate masculinity in women. Our society loves to celebrate femininity in men. Call me old-fashioned, but I like masculine men and I like feminine women. I just got back from Thailand yesterday and I wanted to share a personal story. It was one of my final nights there, and me and my buddy Matt, we wanted to see the sunset. And so we went to the beach and we came across this beautiful place filled with all of these people. You had men doing circus tricks, you had women taking Instagram photos, everybody was having a good time, everybody was in a good mood. One of the things that really stood out for me in this scene was seeing how the gender differences were manifesting themselves. Just as it was getting dark, there were about 10 men sitting on the beach playing drums, playing flutes and other instruments. They were creating this really tribal beat, and there was something very masculine about it. This rhythmic music that they were creating just by beating their bare hands against a drum. I made a point of looking to see if there were any female musicians, but I couldn't see any. The women were dancing. There were men dancing as well, but primarily it was the women. One thing that stuck out to me was that the best real estate on the beach, right in front of the drummers, the source of the music, was all occupied by what seemed to be the most beautiful women, the best dancers, the most enthusiastic dancers. They had front and center. There were lots of other people dancing on the periphery, myself included, but it was as though the most attractive women were all drawn to be as central as possible. Now, even though it was the men who were creating the music and creating the space for all of this to occur, all of the eyes of the audience were on the women dancing. As I watched this scene unfold, I was just struck by what a perfect representation it was of masculinity and femininity in their purest form. The masculinity creates the order, it creates the structure, which is then subsequently filled by the feminine and made beautiful. Men and women just fell into their natural roles, and the result was glorious. Now, some people might look at this situation and try and create some kind of problem. Like a feminist might ask, well, why weren't there any women playing music? Is this some kind of male-only occupation that they are excluded from? That's completely missing the point. This was masculine music that was being created. It was tribal, drumming beats. Likewise, you could also ask, why were the women monopolizing the best area of dancing? Were men excluded from that space? Not at all. I think there were lots of men who were enjoying dancing, but they all intuitively recognized that it was quite natural for the most beautiful women to congregate in the center because they're the most pleasant to look at. The way that they move their bodies is just so natural, so feminine. A beautiful woman dancing, when she's good at dancing, can really be quite intoxicating. And the good vibes from these women was just rippling out to the whole beach. They were laughing and having a good time. They were just delighting in their own beauty, just having fun, being playful. It was a pleasure to watch. It's not as though there was some kind of patriarchy dictating, you men, you stay out of the center. If you want to really participate, you play music. That's all you're good for. And you women, you get right up into the front so that everybody can look at you. It was nothing like that at all. There was nobody creating this situation in any kind of artificial way. It just naturally fell that way because it reflects our inner biology. That's what masculinity and femininity do. There's nothing wrong with men being masculine and women being feminine. That's just us playing to our natural strengths. Check out this footage. I took it the day after when we were catching the boat from one island to the other. And what you see here are a bunch of tourist men who just hopped in, nobody asked them to, and started helping the boat crew unload the luggage. It's true that no women were helping out, but this isn't the result of sexism or patriarchy. This is just masculinity doing what masculinity does. Physical labor just naturally falls to men because they're the strongest ones in this situation. We need to stop creating problems where problems don't exist. It was quite natural for men to help out in this situation. So if you're a man and you're interested in developing your masculinity within your family, within your relationship, you want to go out and conquer the world, you want to create money, you want to be a good provider, do not feel guilty for that. It is very natural for you as a masculine man to take on that leadership position. You are a man. So be a man. And if you're a woman and you've got some feminist friends who are telling you that it's sexist or patriarchal for you to be a stay-at-home mother, for you to indulge your nurturing instincts, ignore them. There is nothing wrong with being a feminine woman. That's what comes natural to you. Anybody who wants to reject your inherent masculinity as a man or your femininity as a woman is probably just miserable, and they want you to be miserable so they feel less lonely in their own misery. Men and women are different, and that's completely okay. They complement each other. If we can just be honest with ourselves and drop all of this postmodernist nonsense and say, yes, men and women are different and it's okay to embrace our natural gender differences, then we can create more beautiful scenes like this one that I experienced at the beach. If you want to hear more about my trip to Thailand, I spent over 2 weeks taking daily vlogs, heaps more observations, heaps more personal stories. They're all available on my Patreon, hours and hours of exclusive content, only $5 a month. I'd love to have your support.